Matty, big shoes to fill. Cameron Smith, they don't get any bigger than that. How daunted?
Nah, not really. It's exactly the same as the playing days. He was always in front of me as a player and always in front of me as a coach. But I'm lucky to get an opportunity, and I guess it goes back to when I was playing. Mal Meninga was a coach then, and when I was playing, he said, you haven't been picked to be Cameron Smith. You've been picked to be Matt Ballin when you play. So I'll be doing the same thing when I coach. I'll just go in and do the best job I can, and I'm sure that's enough for Queensland.
What excites you most about this opportunity that you've got to be hands-on all the time with the Maroons?
Oh, just working with the calibre of players that's in that team is the exciting part. I'm lucky enough to work with a lot of them here at the Broncos, and I'm just thrilled to be able to do that with a team, for those 3 camps and leading into the game. So obviously grew up in Queensland and Kingaroy and loved the Maroons ever since I was a young fella, and to play for them once was amazing. To be involved over the last couple of years has been fantastic, and then now to be fully entrenched in the series is just a great experience for me as a young coach.
You had a chance to have a chat to Cameron. He's going to coach the Currumbin Eagles, I believe. He's going back to the grassroots. But
yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? I haven't had a chance. I tried to call him today. He's obviously busy, but I think that's a great thing that he's going back and coaching, the Currumbin Eagles, and it's obviously something he wants to do, and it's awesome for him.
What have you learned? You mentioned being in the system in the last couple of years. What have you learned from that already?
Probably just watching how the elite players get ready in that elite stage. Obviously, week to week NRL is different. It's a bit more of a grind. So the coach has to be, consistent over that long period of time. So you see those behaviours. When you come in and watch Billy coach, there's different things about Origin that he needs to get those players up for the 3 games. So learning those little parts of the game from great players like him, and they're obviously great coaches, is really interesting for me as a coach, and something I've tried to do over the last 2 years. But working with the players, I've found that the bigger the game, the more simple you keep it, and you give those players a really good environment to do well in, and they'll bring out the rest of it. So my job as assistant will just be to go through and prepare the players as best I can and give them that environment to be a really good player, and then obviously Billy will feed down the Queensland DNA.
You enter at another time where Queensland's kind of in this purple patch of form that obviously I think you're heading for 3 straight this year, so it's kind of perfect for you, not pick up pieces or anything like that.
There's no pressure, is there? Smith's out, Ballin's in, and then we're in 2 in a row. So no, obviously Queensland's done well over the last 2 years. So me coming into the side now, or the staff now, I want to do well again. So I'll just be myself. I'll go in, work hard, give the players the best opportunity to beat New South Wales.
What about head coaching role at an NRL club, sort of the end goal, and how far away do you feel you are from that?
Yeah, definitely. I've been coaching now for about 7 years after I finished playing, and that's the goal for me, to be a head coach. I'll obviously have to do my time, and I've found it really interesting here at the Broncos for the last 2 years. I've done time at Manly under Des there. Kevvie's been great here. So I'm learning different things all the way along, and now to do an Origin series is another string to the bow. So I'm in no hurry to be a head coach. I'm looking forward to doing that one day, but I've got a lot of learning to do till that happens.
You were coaching the 19s for Queensland as well. How is that going to sort of help bring the next role?
Yeah, that was a great experience last year with the 19s. So that was my first job with Queensland and first head coaching job with Queensland. So I learnt that the different stages of development for those young guys. That was about just teaching those guys what it's like to be a Queenslander and what's expected of them when they get to the next level. So that was a great learning for me. Now obviously working with the men's a little bit of a different step up, but the same thing applies. I'm from Kingaroy. I'm proud of my country heritage and state heritage. So I'll just keep bringing that to the floor with the Origin boys.
There's a couple of Queensland hookers that both have great country heritage. Harry Grant and Ben Hunt, obviously.
Yep.
Ben can't go on forever. Where do you see Harry? We talk about Cameron Smith. Harry's got a career ahead of him that could be just as long as Cameron. Where's he at? And would you see him becoming Queensland's number 1 hooker for a long time?
Yeah, I think, obviously Harry's a great player. Like he's done an excellent job for Queensland off the bench the last couple of years with Benny Hunt starting the game. He could be anything in the future. Like obviously Benny's playing some extremely good football as he gets older. He's just getting better and better with age, and when he plays dummy half, I think that's his best position for that Origin team. And having Harry come off the bench, he brings that spark, and those two can play lock, hooker, halfback. So we're very lucky in that with the flexibility. Harry long term, I think he's Queensland's long term hooker over the next period. Obviously Benny's doing a great job now, and he'll continue doing that. But those guys, when I've come into camp, have just been so receptive with whatever we bring to talk about what we want them to do. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Cam kind of looked after the forwards. Do you see is that will be your role? How does Billy explain that to you?
Yeah, I think that'll be my role. It's sort of only happened quite quickly, as we know. So we'll go into camp this weekend and formalise all the details of what my role will be. From my understanding, it'll be that. But like I said, I'll just come in and I'll fill water bottles if I have to.
How's Kev feel about you juggling the gigs? You're going to be pretty busy in the middle of the year.
Yeah, it was good. It was funny. We were talking yesterday with Kevvie, and on our phones we've got our teamwork apps, and Billy Slater's name come up as we were showing Kevvie something on the phone, and I said, I'll take it later, and Kev goes, no, you need to take it now. So he'd obviously known, and Billy spoke to him, and he was really happy. So Kevvie thinks that we go away and learn from great coaches and great players, and we'll come back to the Broncos and bring those attributes back here and make the club better. So he's been really receptive and really helpful. And just really happy for me to be able to do it.
What was that phone call like with Billy?
It was good. It was pretty straight to the point. He commented on my painting at the moment of the house, and then he just said that Cameron's going to step away, and that he thought that I was the next best one to come in and do the job. So he just mentioned that the last couple of years he'd been really happy with how I'd come into camp and helped out and just done a role game day, and then he wanted me to do the more formal role this year. So I just said, thank you very much. I'm really honoured and I'm really privileged that you'd asked me to do that.
We know you played Maroon. Who were your favourite players on the State of Origin scene when you were younger? Yeah,
probably Jason Hetherington, being just a tackling machine at hooker. And then I was lucky enough when I played, he was on the coaching staff, so that was fantastic. Obviously Alfie Langer at halfback, Lockyer at 5'8", and fullback when he first played. But the other one I really enjoyed watching was Darren Smith. He was just a real hard worker. He just tackled his backside off and worked really hard on the edge or at lock if he was there. So I really enjoyed watching Darren play, and he epitomised what Queensland meant to me. So I like those players.
What about the Queensland forward depth? It's quite extraordinary at the moment, isn't it? You've got a bloke like Jermaine Hopgood knocking on the door. When you look at the forwards which you're going to be dealing with, is that what you see excites you, that the fact that the guys are in the 17, there's a lot more knocking on the door? There's a good backlog of Maroons that still haven't played yet.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Queensland's done a really good job of whoever comes into the side is the next man up mentality, and it doesn't matter whether you're playing Queensland Cup or you're coming off the bench for your NRL team. Those guys that come in just do a fantastic job. So obviously, the starters there in Paddy and Tino and Mo and Fleggy, like, they're just exceptional, those guys in themselves. But like you said, there's a new crop of guys coming through, and it'll be fantastic to work with all of them and just pass on whatever I can to those guys.
Just on one age representative for Queensland's already had that you work with here, Blake Moser. How's he been tracking at the Broncos? I mean, hopefully he'll be a Queensland Maroon in the future as well. Obviously, Billy said, Billy Walters the other day, that he's putting pressure on, and so the other hookers. But where's he at with his development now? He playing NRL this year? Yeah,
Blakey's doing really well. I really don't like it when people compare him to Cameron Smith, because Cameron's one of the best players in our game ever, full stop. So I think it's quite unfair on Blakey when he gets compared to Cameron and the ability that he could have. Blakey's a young man that's played one game of NRL, and he's got a real bright future ahead of him. So I just say to Blakey, go and be yourself at training, work hard, and that's as simple as I keep it for him. I say don't read too many articles about what they're saying to you in the media. Your trajectory will be based on your effort and your ability to stay focused on what Blake Moser does well. So I try not to talk about any of those things that he's compared to or Cameron Smith, because it's just unfair on him. And he's a great young fella that works hard, and he's doing really well in pre-season. So for me, working with him specifically in the hookers, we've got a heap of hookers here at the Broncos, so there's a lot of good competition, and he's got a bright future ahead of him.